Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner, and I have a very special guest in my corner that I met at Youmacon. Would you like to unveil your secret, not so secret identity?
I am Baschfire, better known as Bosch. I do music and things.
And what kind of music do you do?
I do all sorts of stuff, really. I primarily lately I've been doing a whole lot of electronic music featuring Vocaloids, which has become my incredible new addiction.
Well, now I have to wonder because Vocaloid software is really interesting to work with. Did you just get around to playing with it one day and you were able to get the sound you liked? Or did you like the human qualities of the sound, or what appealed to you?
I had a friend who was really into Vocaloid, and they showed me this music. I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. And I heard these instrumentals, and they were amazing. But for it took me a while to kind of get into the sound of the Vocaloid. And so one thing I discovered was that was the original, like version one of these Vocaloid programs, which sounded really robotic. And I started listening to like the newer versions, and I was like, wow, this is basically a singer in a box. And it was so cool. So I decided that I really wanted to do something with it and went out and bought myself the Aoki Lapis Vocaloid and made couple songs and kind of fell in love with it.
Well, now, when you're using Vocaloid, how do you like to incorporate it into a song? Is it more like an accompaniment to the music, or is the singer kind of the star? How do you best like to frame it in the song?
Um, well, the way I usually work on songs is I always write the instrumental first, and then I kind of muddle about for couple hours to a couple weeks trying to figure out a good melody. And once I get that down, then it's absolutely the voice is the spotlight. And I prefer it to be that it's like a solo singer, kind of like how pop music is in America, where it's all about the singer as opposed to the music, and the music is just kind of behind it supporting the melody line.
So, out of sheer curiosity, have you ever wrote lyrics or something for a song first, and then been like, "This is backwards. How do I do this?"
I have I have never had a song come to the light of day at doing that, unfortunately. My mind just cannot do lyrics first. Uh, as is with one of my songs, I wrote out this really nice instrumental and something I kind of fell in love with. And for like the next 2 weeks, the title of that song was, I have no idea what this is going to be about. And so I was just kind of trying to find ideas of like, okay, what should this be about? What should this be about? And I didn't come up with anything until Crows basically he's like, hey, let's make this about DJs and music because that's what you do. And I'm like, okay. And next thing we know, we have a song.
That's actually really. Was that the one I was talking about before we got on air? Out of
Yes, exactly that one.
For those of you who don't know, Chris sends me like music snippets of random things, and sometimes I think it's random gibberish, sometimes it's something else, and he gives me no context whatsoever. So we were talking before we got on air, and I was like, I think I've heard some of the stuff that you've done in like before it was released, and I think this is one of them, and it has this like horrible title, like I have no idea what this is going to be about. .mp3, and
Yeah.
and surprisingly, you knew what that was. So,
Yeah, I'm very good at remembering the working titles of my tracks as I'm working on them. It's harder to remember the project files I give them when I'm first starting the music, though.
I actually think it's just funny. Small world too, small internet world.
Yeah,
But we actually met at Youmacon, and you did a show there, I believe.
I did. I opened up for the Youmacon rave.
And how was that?
That it was honestly probably the most amazing experience I've had in my entire life up to this point. I've always kind of, ever since I started performing, I knew I was an addict to being on stage and playing, and this was the best crowd I had ever played for. It was the best music I had ever played, and I kind of fed off that energy, and it was an amazing experience.
Well, I've seen the Youmacon dancers in action. We used to be set up right in front of the main hall and or the main room in the GM hotel. So we were like the quote unquote pre-rave, is what people would call us. And the first year we went to Youmacon, it was like right after Gundam Style became a huge thing. Like it was
Oh,
literally a month.
oh
And
no.
we already had size stuff in the station. So we play it one day and just like here's 500 600 people that suddenly showed up who were dancing to it.
Yeah,
What happened? Ah!
that man, that song it has its own life. It's crazy.
It is, but I love how you talk about feeding off the energy and things like that because one thing I can never explain to any of my DJs before a convention is like you have to get your energy up to kind of set the pace so they'll
Oh
follow
yeah.
follow your lead and exceed it. And for some people, they're like, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, you'll see.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing I find is that when I write music, I write it for myself. I write everything that I enjoy listening to. And so then when I'm playing it, I'm already really into the music. And so I just kind of get going and going. And then when people watch me go, then they go, and then I watch them, and it goes kind of from zero to infinity in like 6 seconds. And it's wonderful.
No, I'm totally sure it is. So yeah, for Youmacon, I'm glad that we got a chance to meet, and you actually showed up to our unplanned karaoke session. That was
I wasn't sure if that was planned or not, but
it was kind of planned. Like I had people give me a bunch of music that they wanted to sing, and then when we got there, plans changed, and we had to move elsewhere, and it was very confusing, but it was a lot
oh
of fun.
yeah, yeah, I remember that.
At least we got to see Tia Ballard and one of our DJs, Bobby Henshin, to sing Slim Shady. And that's all I've ever wanted in life. I didn't know I wanted it.
Yeah, I didn't know I wanted that either. But I watched that and I was like, I'm watching Tia Ballard doing that. And it was an experience, to say the least.
Yeah, Tia and Ken Pontek were the stars of
Oh,
Youmacon karaoke.
I feel like Ken is all just the star of everything he's in.
That's true. That's true. He's got some of the most amazing outfits, and he even gave me a hand at Youmacon.
Oh
Ha ha
yeah.
ha.
I almost got ahead from him at Midwest.
Oh, really?
He was giving out decapitated Santa heads.
Well, obviously, you're fitting into the convention circuit. I can already tell.
I try.
Well, so are you looking into performing at more conventions in the future?
Definitely. I know I will be performing with Crows and Hatch from Random Gibberish, among other guests that people might know, like Tom Wayland and John St. John, and we're forming a band, and we'll be playing stuff through that. But I'm also really looking into playing music at raves and doing kind of my own thing as well, because there's nothing quite like going to a rave and playing some really fast blasting music.
Hey, as long as you're not like one of those people who are like, I'm totally the DJ rave, and they pull up that YouTube playlist and let it run, I'm all
Oh,
good.
good Lord, no.
That
I One thing I heard from some people is that I was one of the few DJs that actually played Vocaloid music.
kind of
So,
surprises me because even when we're playing dance centric music and not even doing remixes, we'll play Vocaloid music. So
oh yeah.
what a
Um,
surprise!
I know.
Well, it's kind of like the people too that only do like the dubstep at
Uh-huh.
ones are one of the things that's always confused me about convention raves is that they never play anything that's anime related.
Yeah, and that's something that I don't fully agree with. And that's why and I think that's kind of why Morgan and Crows and people wanted me to be there, because I'm one of the fans, but I just make music so I can really be one of the fans, but I'm also on stage. And I want to listen to anime music, so I'm gonna play anime music.
No, I totally agree. I mean, some of the best dances, whether they're raves or dances or balls or what have you, that I've been to have been the ones that like give us a theme and they're like, we want you to play this type of music. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Now we're going to find Asian music under that theme that actually
Yes.
matches, the context of the convention. We're not going
Oh
to be
yeah.
playing Lady Gaga for you all the time.
Oh gosh.
Just
I don't know if
that.
I'd make it.
That's why we're the good guys.
Yeah.
Brofist or whatever. I
Yeah.
can't brofist you through the computer unless I want to crack my monitor. So just pretend. Uh,
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
but so about the album that you were working on that has Vocaloid stuff. For the fans out there, when can they get their hands on it?
It will be released actually right as this is airing. You will be able to go and get it.
Where
And that
can they get it though?
where can they get that? They can get that from my Bandcamp page, which is captainboschfire.bandcamp.com. It is affectionately titled Nightlights, and the reason I kind of named it like that was most of the songs in it were all about, or were mainly about nighttime, or just kind of skies and all sorts of stuff like that, because I have a huge obsession with the night. And so that was basically the idea I had behind it.
Well, that sounds awesome. And you said before that not only was it Vocaloid, but it was electronic. So a lot of dancers and ravers will probably really enjoy the album.
Oh, definitely yes.
And is there anything else you want to tell us about the album, such as like maybe themes, besides, nighttime or anything that maybe people should listen for?
Um, you will, I mean, I think the most striking thing that you'll be able to notice when you listen to the songs is that there are fairly heavy influences from anime, being that I am a very hardcore otaku and I watch a lot of anime. A lot of my music has been influenced by soundtracks and openings and endings and all sorts of different songs in there. So when you hear the music, you wouldn't be surprised if you hear something like, "Wait, that sounds like Gundam Wing," or "That sounds like Madoka," or something like that. So you will probably notice things that, to be honest, I probably wouldn't even notice, which is part of my signature. Is just I'm a person that blends sounds from American electronic dance music and anime music.
Well, obviously that really fits our audience. Our audience has a tendency to love that sort of stuff. And
Excellent.
I get a lot of requests for remixes from popular artists we have on the station. So I really think that you guys will also enjoy this album. I've gotten a chance to listen to some of the tracks, some before I was supposed to listen to them, and some finalized. And I have to say, it's been a pleasure. It's something that I would listen to in my day-to-day life.
Hmm.
So for the fans out there that want to keep up to date on what you're doing, not just like releases for this album, but for future releases, where can they do that?
They can find me on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/Baschfire, Baschfire. They can also follow me on my Tumblr, which is primarily a bunch of posts from different anime, but I also post works in progress, so little sneak peeks of stuff that I'm working on. And you can also follow my Facebook, which is, I believe, Boschfire as well. And so is my Tumblr. And you can find those places, and I will always be posting new stuff from what I'm doing. And I also take videos on my Vine and my Instagram. So you can find me in all those different places.
Awesome. Well, so for now, interestingly enough, I believe your future is with collaborating with whatever Crows throws you into. But as a as a soloist, what other goals do you have in mind for the future?
Um, I'm still holding on to this idea that I've always wanted to either get into video game soundtracking or cartoon animation soundtracking. So those are kind of goals that I would like to do. they're a little bit more sidelined to what I'm doing currently because I really love doing electronic music and I love working on rock music, which is a lot of fun because I write it like a lot of Japanese rock, and then Crows and Hatch they write melodies and lyrics in English, like American rock. So it's a really fascinating combination.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe you'll have some interesting cultural clashes in some of the music, which would be really hilarious when I think of them.
Yeah, it it is fascinating how it works out. I don't know how Crows manages to write melodies to the chord progressions I give him, but he somehow does it, and it doesn't sound bad. So it's an experience in its own. I don't know how we do it.
Well, obviously the results have been in your favor.
So
So
far.
yeah, so I hope that everybody gets a chance to pick up this latest album, sample your work, and hopefully follow you because from what I've heard, I've been very impressed. So congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your album release.
Thank you.
And now for the fans out there, is there anything else you want to tell them? Any words of wisdom, dating advice, predictions for the end of the world?
Predictions for the end of the world. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of prescribed to the whole end of the world from E-bombs, if anyone remembers that back in the day, where we have a nuclear winter. Stupid, but and we still have the kangaroos.
The kangaroos are going to invade from
Oh yes. So
Australia.
I predict somehow mutant kangaroos will destroy the world. That's my prediction for the end of the world.
That's a pretty good prediction. That's the best prediction I've heard in a while. So, congratulations on that one too.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm flattered.
It's better than the clean underwear, clean shoes one from the other day.
Oh gosh, that
Yeah.
doesn't sound. That sounds a little scary.
I know you had to think about it. You're like, that doesn't sound. Wait a second. That sounds horrible. But
Yeah.
but since we're nearing the end of this interview, I was wondering if you'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Go ahead.
Basically, we want you to do a radio bump for us,
Okay.
which means you have to say, "Hello, my name is," you insert your name, "I do this," you insert what you do, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
All right. Let's see if I can get this right the first time. Hi, I am Baschfire, and I write music. And you are tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
See, that wasn't that hard.
Sweet.
Yeah, look at you. Uh, I have more voice actors that confuse that, to be honest. 90 what? 600? Perfect. Yes, thank you. That was fabulous. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to listen to more of your music in the future and catch you at a convention.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
And for any of the listeners out there that might have missed any of this interview, don't fret. You can find it on the website within the next few days. So keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and your ears tuned to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.